I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
All right, there it is. It is happy hour. It is time for happy hour. Whiskey, cigars, spirits, and stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
Hey, I am Matt Fox.
I am still August Gitschlag.
Still.
After all these years.
Drinking fine brews and blends is what we're up to today.
Yes.
Some fine.
There's a lot of fun stuff happening on the table right now.
Yes, I'm stoked. I'm excited, and that's the thing. It's like we try different things and we meet different people. A lot of times we're talking to the makers.
Some people are better than others.
Yeah,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, and then but sometimes it's not just the people who make it and sell it, distribute it. Sometimes it's the people who get to pick those barrels, get them out on the streets, and then do really cool stuff in the city. There's so much to talk about.
Well, we're no strangers to barrel picks. I mean, we've all got our bar places and our liquor stores that we go to get the barrel picks, and you see that stuff out there. This is for women Buffalo Trace that you can only get at Wine Garden. Or, everyone has their own stuff, but I do appreciate it when the bars do it.
Yes.
Did you say wine guards?
Yes. Wine Gardens, not Wine Garden. Wine Garden.
Okay.
Wine Garden. So we're not doing landscaping today.
You get a lawnmower and a bottle.
So we have some guests. Lawn to snow and barrel pick tequila.
That's it.
Who knew?
Get
Plant your agave. Grow it right there.
That's a good way to plow some snow. Let me tell you.
They say three's a company, but we actually have two gentlemen here with us tonight.
Use that term loosely.
Hey, now
I said gentlemen.
Those are fighting words there.
I have to say three's company because your T-shirt is killing me. The Regal Beagle from Three's Company in Santa Monica, California. That's fantastic. Yes,
we love the Regal Beagle. We were talking about the Regal Beagle the other day. Anyway, but a bar that we love hitting in the city.
Yes,
is the Firebird Tavern. Right there, right in the heart of Greektown, and I'm old, and I got years on all you fellas.
You're only as old as you want to be.
And I remember the bars and things down in Greektown, and there was a place called Maryland on Monroe's, which was always kind of interesting. And then you guys took it over and turned it into the Firebird Tavern, and it's just simply gorgeous, and it's still got a lot of that Detroit old looking nostalgia feel about it. But I'm not afraid to sit down anymore. So that's a good thing.
It's one of the only places I'm willing to be in after midnight in Greektown.
That's right. Sure. So with us,
turns out that's what we're going for.
The owners there.
It's in the business plan.
The Firebird Tavern. Owen Burke and Tony Pereno, you guys, thanks for being here. And that's the thing. It's like we want to talk about your bar. We want to talk about the picks that you guys get to do for your bar, and you brought a couple samples, which is like really thoughtful and generous. But before we do that, Tony, tell me about your childhood.
Holy cow! How much time do you have?
Yeah, right. You want to get how weird do you want to get?
30 seconds.
I thought this was free. Did you bring your checkbook?
I was a Royal Oak kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grew up on the south side, is like we used to call it before Royal Oak was Royal Oak.
Yeah.
It was a little bit more blue collar and gritty when as I grew up. All those bars and downtown lofts, and that wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah.
When I grew up. But totally more blue collar than it is right now.
Skateboard shops and leather shops, right?
Yeah, right. When New Orleans, right.
Noir leather is like right there in the corner.
When that thing came in, that was like,
wait a minute.
Whoa,
wait.
This is edgy, man. What? There was backlash on it, right? Like there was some weird things. I think stood the took.
Just stay talking. Just talk down the barrel.
No, I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
Newbie.
And then, Owen, what about you? Where do you hail from?
I hail from the east side of Troy.
Of Troy.
Tough, the rough parts of Troy.
So that's like the Red Hawk area of Troy.
Exactly.
Yes.
Both my older, I'm the youngest of three. Both my brothers were Athens Red Hawks, and then my folks moved when I was in 8th grade, and I moved over to the west side of Troy, and I went to Lasser High School, which is now closed.
Right.
Yeah.
All three of my daughters, Red Hawks.
Is that right?
Yeah, that is right. That is absolutely correct.
No, Tone may have a thing or two to say about that.
Okay, Mr. Dondero, that's enough.
Well, down there, guy, yeah. But I also coach high school football at Troy High.
All right. Go Colts.
Hence the boot.
Yeah. So the Firebird Tavern, it's been down there. You guys have been doing this for about 10 years down at Greektown?
10 years. Yeah.
10 years at Firebird. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I met these guys prior to that 20 years ago, at least, right?
So help us understand.
Was there a project before the Firebird?
Indeed.
So, well, how did you guys connect, and what was your first bar project?
Well, we my college roommate was a childhood friend of Tony's.
Oh.
So that's how Tony and I met, was in college and some fraternity parties, and we just all kind of met. And then I moved away for a bit to Chicago to try and learn a couple things. I don't know.
Find yourself.
Soil your royal oats. Yes.
And in the meantime, this gentleman's name is Joe. And Tony and Joe were working on a business plan to open up a bar in Detroit. They always had a dream to do that. So I had a little bit of experience in the nightlife business when I went through college, bartended at Industry Nightclub. And,
oh, my God.
In Pontiac?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And Clutch Cargoes, if you remember that. Old school. I'm dating myself. But
Yeah.
I remember that cigar, the swing room in the basement downstairs. It was great.
Yep.
So these guys would randomly call at times saying, "How much are cherries? How much do you pay for glasses? What do you think we could sell this for?" So I'd answer them, and then I go about my business.
So you became the Mr. Material guy.
That's it.
At that point.
Yeah. So
Correct.
and then, long story short, these guys came and put together a business plan. And Tone can fill in some of the other details about them walking around other bars, posing as college students, asking them how much like food costs are, that they're going to write an article. They went to Wayne State. I mean, these guys faked it till they made it.
That's
great.
weird with it. Totally weird with it. Only to see, like, what was the average guest check? Like, how many people came in a day? Like, what was the foot traffic like that? Because back in 04, 05, Detroit wasn't vibrant.
Nope.
I guess maybe the word I'd use.
That would be fair.
No, I mean, it was
the Super Bowl
definitely
was on the horizon. It was coming in
yeah.
06, and the new stadiums were coming, so there was some revitalization. There were some things
yeah.
coming, so we wanted to jump onto that. But at the time, it wasn't. And
We were sold a bill of goods. Basically.
yeah.
Oh.
And then everybody would talk to you. We're like, "What are you fucking doing?
Yeah.
Like, you're opening a what? Why downtown?
Where?
Like, why
Nightclub,
downtown?
lounge,
Like, why
where?
not? Because we want to. That's why.
So that was Pulse.
That was
that
called
was
Pulse. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Randolph and Monroe, but on the other side of Randolph from where we are now.
Okay.
And it's in a now vacant lot that the guys that do all the electrical work on the Bedrock building all park there now. But it was like a 3 or 4 story parking structure from the 1950s. Yeah. And we had a small sliver kind of shotgun style bar.
Yeah.
16, 18 feet wide by 90.
Nice.
And we put in a cocktail bar that we're not patting ourselves on the back by any means, but we're probably 15 years ahead of our time.
That was like you and Lush.
Well, it was
Right.
pre Sugar House, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Those boys used to come in and just patron us,
poking
and
around.
see
Ask
what
you,
the-
they were writing
and
an
how to-
article.
how to do it
and-
So
better.
how much did you pay for glasses?
much-
You
how
asked
much
us
cherries
how much
were-
And they just took
traffic
what
do
we
you have?
did and elevated.
What are your hours on
Those guys
weekdays?
did- The Cooley boys did a really good job.
How do you make it without any food?
What was the average guest check?
Yeah, right.
You got it. You got it.
Like, I'm gonna put some money into this. How does this make
You
sense?
got it. So once we got our business plan together, we actually knocked on all of our friends and family's doors and shook them down for a bunch of money.
Yeah.
We had 14 partners at the place.
Okay.
Wow.
Hopefully silent.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Not recommended.
Not
Yeah,
recommended.
that's
don't,
not
I don't recommend that.
Not
No.
recommended.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Although for the most part, they were great about it.
For the most
And
part.
it was Owen and I and Joe that made decisions, and they voiced concerns.
Sure.
I think is the way to
About
say
their
it.
lack of return on investment.
Yeah.
Primarily
What's
driven.
my ROI on this?
Primarily driven
How
by
long
ROI.
can I get
Yeah,
my?
right.
How
Like,
long
what are
will
you
it
gonna
take?
fucking pay us, man? Like,
2.4 years turned into 10. But we ran that effectively, ineffectively, you could argue. I think Tony and I basically got a master's degree in how to run a business without putting a plaque on the wall.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think we learned mostly of what not to do.
Is that feet to the fire?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was time to fire up the Firebird.
And then, yes. So the city bought our building and raised it.
it gave us a check.
And gave us a check
move.
for 10 cents on the dollar, but we were
Okay.
able to parlay that into
Firebird.
into Firebird, and Tony was, I mean, had an in with the location here.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, we signed a lease on the place, and then we opened up Firebird in 2003. Oh yeah, that's both. Yeah. 2013. Yeah, August of 13.
So this will be your 10th year in August.
All right.
Congratulations. 10
Well,
years.
thank you.
That's a
20-year
milestone.
odyssey.
That really is a milestone. It really is. But
especially when you throw in COVID, right? Like,
well, yeah.
That's I count that shit as dog years.
So
as
8
we were
years.
talking about earlier.
I was gonna say 20.
Right.
I was talking about doing it. We did a City of Champions episode at the Historical Museum downtown. And it was like before COVID. And I'm in my head, it's like, oh, that was like 2 years. No, that's like 4 years ago now. It was like, it just.
Ain't it crazy?
But yeah, it's the COVID. It's applause for making it through it, because
know,
not
right?
all bars and small businesses did.
They certainly didn't.
Yeah, even human beings didn't make
Yeah.
it. So I mean,
More so.
we got hit financially hard,
Yeah.
and everybody got hit somehow, some way, either emotionally or financially. Ours was purely, luckily, ours was purely financial, which doesn't make it easy, but
Right.
we're still here.
And doing great stuff. Like I said, the place itself is just gorgeous.
Thank you.
It's got that nice downtown big city bar feel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of the goal there, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't recreate it. You just can't.
Well, in the last couple times I've been there, I'm sitting down next to someone who's from out of town,
All
who's
the time.
doing that hotel lobby style. Meet someone and they just want to chat and find out, hey, so how long has this place been here? You come here often?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I'm like, oh yeah, well, this used to be this, and I've found that that kind of chatter there the last couple times I've been in there. So I do enjoy
nice.
that.
Yep, we get a lot of business travelers in there just by proximity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a handful of bars down in your area. How do you differentiate yourself? How are you guys? What are you guys doing to stand out and get people to come in?
I think it's easy, and I guarantee if you were to blindfold us or tell us to write it down,
Newlywed
like,
style,
it would
and see if you hold up the same card.
We would almost say the same stuff, right?
Again, dating yourself. Nice job.
Yeah, right. I think it would.
It's
would
on Buzz
almost
all the time. It's on reruns.
Almost be identical.
Yeah.
Plus or minus 5%, right? Like,
All right. So
And
what
it's simple.
what is it you do to differentiate yourself?
everybody's got booze.
Yeah.
Everybody's got beer.
Yeah.
We ain't got special stuff. Well, this stuff is special.
Right.
Yes, we're gonna get.
But
to
the other stuff, right? Everybody's got it. But that's how we run it. It's our staff, right? It starts with our staff. Like,
Absolutely.
we say all the time, like, our staff is probably 90% of the equation, right? And regardless of how cool he is or how cool I think I am, or the place is aesthetically great, the food's great, the cocktails. If the servers aren't great, then what's the takeaway, really?
Right.
Yeah.
What's that Yelp review look like?
Yeah. 4.3 out of 5.
Yelp is either food or service.
Right.
They never say anything about how beautiful the place is, how clean it is.
Right,
the
right.
bathrooms are in good order. Everything
yeah.
works.
Yeah.
All the light bulbs are on. The TVs aren't crooked.
Yeah.
Or showing
All
static
the
or
dumb
Family
stuff,
Feud.
right?
Like, none of that other stuff is paid attention to. None of the other stuff's paid attention to.
Yeah.
It's either food or service. And you really got to be buttoned up on that stuff to be in this game a long time.
But you do some interesting cocktails, and you do some interesting liquors, right? You have some. And
yeah.
you guys
When
do
did you
some-
finally realize you've hit it to the point where we need to be one of these barrel pick joints?
Yeah.
Like, this is like, let's take this next step. Or did they come to you and
it's,
say,
what-
you
what-
need to take
what's-
the barrel pick step?
You want to
know?
hear the
Right.
funniest story about
Yeah.
this?
Yes, please.
Like,
That's why we're here, Tom.
a guy named Tom was a Brown Foreman rep for us, and for
Okay.
years he tried to convince us to do a barrel pick, and we would always be like, Tom, why would we spend 10 grand on a barrel? Like, why would I want to do that?
Sure.
And then 2 years went by, and then he finally said to us, well, you can sell it.
Oh,
that didn't really click. Okay.
And I'm like,
We can,
yeah.
but what's the ROI?
See?
But somehow, like, I
see?
thought it came in a barrel, right? Like,
Right.
he never explained it.
Yeah, you gotta go
thoroughly.
tap
I
it and fill it
I
yourself.
never did the
It's
investigation.
just, I gotta. I
What
have
am I
a
gonna do
hard
with this
time
barrel?
putting shit together from IKEA.
Right.
I'm not gonna be able to do
Look at
that.
this barrel.
I blame him. I mean, he's a salesman. He should have sold it a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I do
Right,
too.
right.
That's my own take.
Fair enough.
And you're like, oh.
So you started
bottle it
with
for us?
you
Okay,
started with the
done.
tequila, or you started with the bourbon? Which one
Oh,
did you do
bourbon
first?
for sure.
Bourbon for sure.
This
Bourbon
one-
for
this is
sure.
our 6th barrel right here.
When Woodford came into the market, I think in like 06, the rep at the time, Rich McCanowitz, we became very good partners with him. I guess I think we try and develop partnerships instead of just asking them for you don't ask for everything. This has to be a two-way street with these sales reps. And
otherwise they'll give their good stuff to somebody else.
See you later.
They can sell, like you said, everyone carries it. There's a fight for some of this stuff. A bar opens up, their tap handles on a new restaurant are terrible,
right?
Because they have no reputation, they have no relationship with these guys, so they're going to be stuck with Guinness, Boddingtons, and the basics.
Correct.
Right. You're not going to get any of the craft beers because that goes to the people who they have a relationship with. I've seen that firsthand,
and they try and sell them to the highest bidder. A lot of the bar owners will say, "Oh, take $1,000 per tap handle," and the beer reps are just like, "I'm not paying you that."
Yeah.
So go fish. But Rich was such a true
Educated
brand ambassador
Yeah.
for this new brand that entered into Detroit or the Michigan market.
Yeah.
And we hit it off very, very quickly. And he invested in us, in our brand at Pulse.
Yeah.
And we displayed that in return, we featured it on our cocktail menu wherever we had bourbon, and did, cigar parties when you could still smoke in bars.
Yeah.
Right.
Cigar parties, whiskey
the way.
parties, cocktail events. We did, it was a two-way street. So the juice, if the juice wasn't any good, we would have moved on to the next place.
Fair enough.
But man, the juice at Woodford at that time in like 2006, it was Jack Daniel's or Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Other
Jim
than
Beam.
that-
Yeah, you're right.
Bourbon
That's
wasn't
about it.
bourbon as
Yeah.
we know it now.
No,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was a different game.
Crown Royal was the high end stuff. It wasn't even
Yeah.
bourbon, but that was the whiskey
It was
people
in its
drank.
infancy at that point, at least in Michigan.
It was just in the background. You saw it on the shelves, but you didn't know about it.
Was
Really?
that the height of the absolute craze? Were you still, was it a vodka time?
Oh,
It was
well,
the-
yeah.
it
And
was
plus
the
we're-
the
we're all
Citron
younger,
was just
right?
Yeah.
It was the
Right.
vodka flavors that were starting
Yeah,
to
that
really
was
take, and then
Stolies,
martinis
yeah.
and things of that nature
I think
really
Kettle,
starting to
Kettle
take off.
One
Kettle,
Kettle One had a little bit of a corner of the market of Michigan, Detroit.
I was a kettle soda guy.
yeah.
right. But then you had your other vodkas that came out. But then the market said, you know what? We don't want to do this anymore. We're gonna go brown liquor instead. So you guys with Woodford, you guys have been partners with them for a while now.
Absolutely.
Since 05. Yeah, 06.
The Brown Foreman people, they're great.
Yeah,
At what
Brown
they do.
Foreman.
They really do.
So this is the 6th barrel. Where do you rank it in the 6th of the 6 that you've had? I mean, obviously, number one's your baby. You're never gonna part with
Who's
that
your
one,
favorite
right?
child?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, like as we
2
talked
through
about
6.
Yeah.
We'll say because
Could be a
number one
question
is
for
number
him,
one,
yeah.
right? But 2 for 6. I mean, we obviously aren't gonna be able to line up all 5 and try them here, but we're gonna give you number one as your favorite. How does this line up? I mean, is it just
Number
different?
one still is our favorite.
Is it okay? Is
I
it
still
just
have
different?
some of that at
or
home. I
it's-
think he has a couple bottles.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you've got a couple squirreled away.
Couple squirreled away.
Nice.
So
Nice,
when
nice.
he comes over, or special people come over, we'll break into it.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's nice. That is.
I
So-
would say this is probably third for me. I like it better than 4, and I like it better than 5. But
better than 2.
I one's my favorite, but 2 was such the complete opposite of Barrel 1. Barrel 1 was sip, don't put anything in it,
Yeah.
don't destroy
Oh yeah.
it.
You
Don't touch-
babied it. Yeah.
Don't touch it.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
drink it.
Don't even put an ice cube in that.
yeah,
So
can we have it
then-
with Coke? No.
No, you
And
can't.
we just
And once it hits 20 years, that you just let it go.
That's it.
have anything
You're
else you want?
correct. Yeah. And then number 2 was just the complete opposite of that, where we wouldn't encourage you to drink it. It wasn't a whiskey to drink on its own. It was
Was it
meant
higher
to,
proof, or
meant
was
to
it-
be? It was definitely hot.
It was
Proof?
hot, yeah.
Same
Same.
proof.
Same proof, but
Hot,
it
Not
just
hot.
Or
Okay.
It just came out.
spicing it. It was
Yeah.
just it was
Spicy.
meant for cocktails.
It
right?
finished
Like,
hot, and it would cut through a lot of the mixers and other ingredients that you put into it, and it worked perfectly.
as it was intended.
As
We
it was
wanted to make a
intended.
cocktail bourbon out of
Oh,
it.
so
right.
when you were going to pick, you were looking for something that had a little
Specifically.
Well, we wanted to go different than the first one, right?
All right,
Like,
all right.
what
So
the
you
hell
wanted
are we
something a
doing
little
here? Let's do
spunky.
something different. Right.
Okay.
So every year we try to do that.
Yeah.
And I
That'd be
think
kinda
this
boring.
year, kind of. It's funny that you ask. I think
we
this
brought
is
it here. Let's get that stuff
I
pouring
think this
here.
is the closest to number one.
I think this is the closest number one. I agree with you, Tom.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So would you guys do us the honor and pour us a
Go
little?
ahead.
Yeah, there's
All
some
right.
I'm going to
gorgeous
stand up.
Firebird glasses they brought out for us.
Nice.
That's these are gorgeous.
Oh,
Now we do have ice. If
I
you're
got
an
many
ice guy,
leather-bound books in the, back there.
There, I do. Do we
I'm
need
very
water to open
important.
this up
Yeah,
at all?
We're
or-
totally important.
Many leather-bound
Okay.
books and
And I do have.
room smells like rich mahogany.
Yes, my man. I would say, like, if there
We gotta
is
try
ice,
it. Try it neat.
I would say try it neat,
Yeah. Yep.
right? give it a little, and then drop one little cube in there.
Nice big clear
and then
cubes.
Like I just did this with some guys from. By the way, there was a.
Mind if we talk business real quick?
We're going to Kentucky. We're going back to Kentucky. We're going back to Kentucky in May to pick another barrel. There was a couple that you were talking to from Kentucky that gave me some information of where to find rare bourbon in Kentucky.
At a liquor store. I forgot to go.
She's like, you don't look like him. I said, because I'm not Owen.
No.
That's why.
All right. So I got to tell you, I nosed this a couple of times. And the first time I nosed it, I'm like, it smells like a lollipop. But then I went back in a second time. And I'm getting cherry off of it. Cherry. Definitely getting cherry on, some dry cherry.
It definitely is dried cherry. I would give you that wholeheartedly.
I haven't even tasted it yet.
So I think the first I was
going to say a hard candy soap, but yeah.
How long have you had this bottle on your shelves at Firebird?
It's in boxes.
That's nice.
Would you have had it last summer at this or last spring?
Yeah,
because this is the one that I had when I came down and shook you down for gift cards for the last tracksuit party.
100%.
When I had the
100%
suit on. Okay,
100%.
This is the one.
Yep.
You're like, hey, check this out. I
can't remember what we did. Was it this or this?
We did both. Yeah, we started with
it's
the
tracksuat, man.
Yeah, no, we started with the bourbon. We started with the bourbon.
Once you get past the outfit that Augie had on, I was like, okay, let's get this out of the way first. What are we doing here?
I had the pants on too, guys. I had the I had the pants.
Like, what are we doing with this?
No. The tigers and the roses and the tigers, the white one.
Man. Come on.
I ran the punch.
Could not wear the maroon one. No, that clashed with the season.
And August, dude, he's just rolling in like it's nothing. And I'm like, okay, dude, hold on. Let's just stop talking for a minute. What the fuck do you have on? What are you doing? Don't talk to me like you're not wearing this outfit.
You just travel in from Brooklyn? What the hell wrong?
And I did it on a Wednesday because I knew he'd be there. Right. Well, I think I'd run into you on opening day. And I'm like, when are you still doing Wednesdays? Are you still the man? He's like, yeah, I'm going to come down, shake it out for some gift cards for tracksuit. You're like, cool.
100%.
And I was bouncing around. I put the tracksuit on. So people are like, what the hell? And I'm like, I start talking about the event. And then people will ask me, why are you wearing that? And I'm like, well, because I got it from G Style USA, and this is what they're doing. I'm raising money.
This is true.
And
I'm
so I was
shaking
bar hopping
down Tony and Owen in a tracksuit. For a tracksuit.
Yeah. Not abnormal down in Detroit.
Not the normal Wednesday attire in the D, but
you had your you had your Adidas on too, right?
I think I had the Magnums on. The Magnum PI
I
shoes
gotta
on.
tell you, I was really close to wearing an Adidas tracksuit with shell toes today. I almost did it.
Would have been perfectly acceptable.
Just to do it for you, and I just, that's
this year's. I ordered a Sergio Tacchini.
I thought it was a little too
old
much.
90s throwback.
I just thought it was too much.
Is that your St. Patrick's Day outfit? The whole green
well,
getup?
This is black. This is all black and white.
So you have two tracksuits, and you're making fun of him?
I got 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay,
I got 3 or 4 pairs of
I have many
Adidas shell toes.
tracksuits.
Yeah, but he's a coach, right? So you gotta.
I can't wear that shit.
Coach Lasso over here. You wear it. You look like
maybe
a
you
Serbian
two
mobster.
guys should talk offline.
Yeah.
Okay, Ted, that's enough out of you.
Here we go.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Yeah, Owen puts on a tracksuit. You should be squatting in front of a Volkswagen or something. Like one of those Serbian mobsters.
I would look like an over. Oh yeah. It wouldn't be good. Me in a tracksuit would be a very large blueberry.
Come on, put a white tank top on you with a nice big chain. Come on, man.
There you go.
But this, yeah. Oh yeah, those are the nice ones.
This is a tasty
So does
drink.
this drink like a 92 proof bourbon?
No.
I mean, if you really think about it, I've had bourbons and whiskeys that are 82, 85, 80 that are hot.
This is it's I wouldn't quite call it hot and not quite spicy, but there's some bite to it, there's some body to it.
Yes.
I want to say warmth, but it's not overwhelming where it's going to sit back on the back of your palate and it's going to make you go no. This is something I want it to sit and it's going to linger and I'm going to want to come back to it.
Like a really nice cab.
Out of respect
nice
for you guys, I did not have my pregame whiskey cocktail because I did not want to get my palate set one way or another.
So you had some ginger ale?
For their fine American.
Yes, I had ginger ale.
Oh,
that's what you are, really.
How'd that work for you?
It's lovely.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Fair enough.
Thanks for asking. It's lovely.
I would suggest putting an ice cube in just.
All right. Well, send the ice over
here. From a
Please,
different
sir.
profile
just
perspective.
To open it up a little bit.
You'll be blown away, both in terms of the nose and the taste.
And please don't be shy.
Yeah,
I will not.
Yes.
He said,
pour away.
You don't know us so well, do you?
I don't work Fridays, so.
I didn't want to assume that you guys liked it, so I didn't pour a lot. But this whole bottle is whatever you don't drink stays on that shelf over there.
Then
It's gonna
after
stay
that,
in the closet. It's going on the-
right.
No,
right.
it's gonna be in the closet for.
And then after that, drink it how you like it. Neat on rocks, whatever.
In your
right?
shoe, it don't
Yeah,
matter.
put it in your shoe, whatever.
So
yeah, right.
help me understand a little bit about your staff, because people always say drink, your cocktail the way you want, or drink your liquor the way you want to. Do you guys actually have?
Well, that's what guys who are selling liquor want to say. Drink it however you want it.
Drink
That's what the Old Forester people say because they just want to sell Old Forester.
Yeah.
But this is a different kind of, like, you're not going to recommend this to someone to put in Coke. Your staff's not going to push that.
They would never.
Yeah.
No, but,
Again, I think. Go ahead.
But the service level that you guys were talking about earlier, is there something that a training that you put your staff through to help them become more cognizant of what the customer is looking for? Is that something you gravitate towards to get those better Yelp reviews?
It's not the Yelp review they were after.
I'm just
believe it or
I
not.
know.
But I know what you're saying. For us, it's just the reverse of it. We want them to be them, right? It starts with that, and at least in our brain. Like, I don't want you to say it how you think I want you to say it.
Right.
I want you to say it how you say it.
Okay.
Say our message. Say what you want to say. Maybe it was whatever special today is, or whatever. Right.
Right.
But say it how you're comfortable with it.
Ah.
I want you to be you. Right. That's how our thing is. Right.
These guys treat their staff very well. I know because I crash their Christmas parties all the time. So I know how well this year and a couple years ago. Yeah, a couple years ago too.
Yes.
That's how we're sitting here.
Yeah.
So this Woodford's nice. We added the ice to it, and it's velvety.
It opened up, didn't it?
Yeah,
It's viscous.
Yes,
it has a body to it.
Visceral.
Yes.
Viscous?
Oh, we're talking about the viscosity of
I
whiskey
know,
now.
Viscosity.
Holy
It's like
shit.
Pennzoil.
I know.
yeah.
Most people,
You know, I really do like it with the ice
what
cube.
we've
It's
learned
great.
over time
Opens up a bit.
It's really good.
is burn.
Yeah.
Does it burn or
Right.
does it not? It's probably the number one question we get is, does it burn or is it
Sure.
smooth? Those are the two adjectives that people kind of
Yeah.
know and kind of
They've
use all the time.
experienced.
And there are
Yeah.
two adjectives that folks in this industry do not like. It's smooth
and burn.
and burn. It's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like,
You're right.
they just it's either warmth or is it what profile?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Soft.
it's velvety.
Yep.
It was velvety, and it smelled. The first time I nosed it, it smelled soft
Yeah.
and like
Different
hard
now.
candy,
Mhm.
and it's different now. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's-
Isn't it weird?
I went to a Johnny Walker tasting one time and they gave you your Johnny Walker and then an eyedropper
Of water?
of water,
Yeah.
distilled water, and they tell you put one drop in at a time until you think you found
They did that at
your most
Down Under.
They did it.
yeah?
They were doing that at Whiskey Business back in the
Oh,
day.
yeah, okay.
And there was a gentleman walking around in, he was wearing the full Scottish
garb, yeah.
right, and he was doing droplets of water into your neat cocktail just to open up the chemicals,
Open it
and
up.
the oils in it, just to
Same
open
thing.
it up. Yeah,
The Scottish really believe in that.
Yeah.
Big time, more than the bourbon kind of heads.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the Scotch drinkers always a little bit of water in it.
Yeah.
They'll just even turn the faucet on and run the glass over like that,
Right.
Yep.
and say that's enough water for me. Pretty crazy.
All right.
but it does, and it does. It makes a difference, and it's a pleasant. I'm getting birthday cake now.
Oh, shit.
Tony, remember
getting
he
that.
said banana bread when we
Banana
were down there?
Yeah. Same kind of thing.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it's like,
okay.
that's what I'm
All
getting.
right.
The cool thing too, right? Like if you're a bourbon head, and it seems like everybody here is kind of had a pick or tried a store pick or whatever kind of thing. So when you see it, I always order it, like wherever I'm at. Like,
Yeah.
okay, just give me that because I know it's going to be unique expression of whatever that thing
Sure.
is.
yeah, right.
Especially at holiday season when you're trying to give gifts.
For sure.
It's gold
Yep.
because
Oh, yeah.
everybody's had
Yeah, right.
everything.
It's special.
It's special.
Mhm.
It's going to be gone. You can't get it.
and
you
when
can't
that
get
barrel's
it
gone,
in a
it's
year,
gone.
you know?
Firebird Woodford. Oh,
Yeah, well, there you go.
So
It
the
must be
big
great.
difference between these is this is at tequila is one entire barrel.
That's young.
So that is a single barrel,
Right.
whereas the Woodford years
Okay.
and
This
7
one is
and change.
a 5 and a 7, I think this one is.
Yep. So they, the angel share.
Yes.
So
And the devil's cut,
5%,
yep.
4%, something like that. So you're left with, a third of the barrel is evaporated,
Yeah.
if
Right.
not
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
depending on weather conditions and placement in the rick house.
Mhm.
So we actually, when we go and do our tasting, we find the perfect blend that suits our taste
Mhm.
of 2 barrels, and then you cut it with a little bit of water you taste it, and then you see if you like that or not.
Okay.
Right.
Yep. So this is a blend of 2 different barrels, whereas this is just one
The
specific
tequila.
barrel. Yeah.
Right. So what are some of the taste profiles that you guys are after when you are picking your barrels themselves? What are, when you picked the Woodford, what were some of the things you were looking for number 6?
To go back to number 1, like sipping whiskey,
Okay.
mellow, caramel forward, orange peel forward, sweetness.
Okay.
On the, either neat or on the rocks drinking, I think is what we wanted.
Or
to
as a
return
cocktail
to.
made.
Yep, it could work as a cocktail, but it really shines as a as a neat or on the rocks. Yeah,
Do we want it to be sippy, or do we want it to be intended to make cocktails with it?
Right.
for sure. That was not, so. Number 3 was like Switzerland. It could go. It could go either way.
Yeah.
Yes.
It didn't work overly well on the cocktail, and it didn't work overly well in neat or on the rocks.
Yeah.
But you're like, that's good.
Mhm.
But number 2 is like, oh, this makes a great. And then 1's like, oh god, this is really good on a rocks.
Number 3, I think we just got the paradox of choice. It's like,
All right, somebody rolls into Firebird Tavern,
Yeah.
and they want some Woodford. They see the gorgeous bottles of Woodford up there on the shelf. They try it and they're like, "Oh my god, I love this expression. I love
No, the
I
answer
love
is
your
no.
pick."
The answer is no. I know where you're going. The answer is no.
Do you don't sell them?
No.
You got your cases in the basement because you.
It's the only thing to try and drive business to your door.
Okay. All right.
It's a uniqueness
No, I didn't know.
factor.
I didn't know
Yeah.
what the practice was. I guess
Yeah.
some places do sell.
A lot of them do. You're right.
yeah.
Honestly.
But again, it's limited. So you took time. You had to pick this, and then it's going to be gone. So if you're
nailed it.
selling them off,
You 100% nailed it. It's the limited of it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get it.
Anywhere else?
Dude, like, and we're all victim to that, right? I don't
Mhm.
give a shit if it's popcorn or
Oh, sure. Like I know going into your spot, I'm going to ask, what do you have now?
Yeah.
What is your
Yeah.
pick? And you get a reputation for that.
Yeah.
And that will be, aside from like
if that's your thing,
Lions
yeah, you're gonna-
tailgate days, it's like, what do you got up there? You
That's
know?
right. Yeah.
So are you guys on 6 now, or like 1 through 5, like gone? You
Oh,
just
yeah,
have a
they're
couple
gone.
special bottles hidden
Yeah.
here and there under your pillow.
It turns
Um,
out it's weird. Like when we do it, we'll go into May, and then next May we'll almost be out. Like we're almost out now.
Okay.
Okay.
So it takes us about a year to blow through a barrel of bourbon.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now someone walks in and they know that you have a number 6 pick. Is that something they can ask for?
Oh yeah.
Do you have 4s and 3s on the shelf?
Oh, sorry. No. We're out.
We're out.
Yeah, we're out.
All right.
That's
We're
it.
just
We-
on
I have
6.
to ask.
we're-
you know?
this
It's a great
this is our
question.
current
Yeah.
expression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
so it's a current.
again, driving people
Our current number.
into
Because I do
Yeah.
know some people sit on those just for that purpose, and they'll bring them out once
Yeah.
a year and say we're doing a
That's right at our
vertical
house.
of yeah.
That's
It's in my basement bar.
I only get to the
That's
Christmas
it.
parties. I haven't been to the basement bars yet, but I go to the Christmas parties.
That's
You had
coming,
to
guys.
come
We
to our
got
house for that.
one more level, but
but not to say, can you sell me a bottle? Can it would it be can I get a cocktail made with?
I've never thought of that and I'm not ashamed to admit that we probably should. That
Yeah,
sounds fun
I would sit on a case
To
of
have
this to mess with in a couple years.
to have a flight.
A vertical, as they call it.
We'll give you royalties. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
We'll give you royalties for that idea.
No, I don't
Hey.
need royalties. I just need to come in and ask. I want to
Call it a Fox flight.
So I.
The Fox flight. You know?
Hey, can I get a number 6?
Yeah.
made
So
on
yeah.
it?
So you've done 6 picks.
want the
Yeah.
Woodford 5. I'm not drinking the 6. It has to be the 5. I'm out.
this is
All right, Mr. Bottom
crap.
Tooth.
Go to your home
This is
and
crap.
get the 5.
total crap.
This is swell compared to the 5.
I can't drink this.
I will not pay for this.
So you've done 6 picks on bourbons. There's a lovely tequila sitting on the table as well.
That's the last
What
of
other
it.
what other picks? How many other picks have you done besides the bourbons? Just
Two.
This
just
is it?
Two
Just-
tequilas.
2 tequilas and the 6 bourbons.
Yeah.
All right.
So was going to Mexico more fun than going to Kentucky?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't even hesitate.
No, not for a second. Not for a second.
Yeah. The first year. The first year was different, and the second year was amazing. Don't get me wrong.
So
Yeah.
what was the difference between the first year and the second year? then?
Well, I it's like I think I would compare it to the first girl you kiss, and then the second girl you kiss, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
all right.
What if the second
Okay.
girl? Never mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. But the first time it was all new and it was wonderful. It's like, oh my god, this is
you didn't know what you were doing
Oh
the
my
first
God, right.
time, right?
right.
Yeah, also, it was all wonderful because you had no idea.
Didn't know any better.
No innuendo here at all.
Such a ton. Like we got back from the first trip, and we had a staff meeting, and we're like, "You suck, you suck, I suck, he sucks. The collective we suck compared to what we just saw. Like their hospitality is not just a thing they do because it's their job. It's just what they do.
Yeah.
Like the guy in the street was sweeping and dancing and having a great time. Guys in the kitchen, all dancing. Everybody happy. Everybody's great. No problem. Right away. Love to help you.
But what happened the second time then?
All the same thing. But now it's just like,
but now you're dancing with them at this point.
Right.
Now you're ready for the dance.
We've seen this.
Yes, I think that's one prism you could look at it through, and it's not incorrect.
Yeah.
I think the other prism you can look at it through is the folks we went with.
Well,
so we had a ragtag knock them out.
Yes.
I won't name names.
Was it mostly Michigan? Or were you with
it was mostly
regional?
liquor store owners in the Metro Detroit area.
Okay.
And a couple of bars.
Lots of them.
Yes. Some of them were mentioned in our pre-show.
In the
here.
pre-interview?
Big Tony, yeah.
There you go.
I'll call Big Tony.
Big Tony can be mentioned. He has
my
no
God.
problem.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Tony,
Lovely gentleman.
Tony and a bunch of other guys that just embraced being away from
The
home
adventure.
for a while.
All right.
Yeah.
Embrace
So,
the
you know what?
adventure.
It was a lot of fun.
There you go.
I think you're right.
All right.
It was a lot of fun. And
I
the
have a-
second
I
time,
have a-
we had just as good of an experience.
That
but
was
we
what, a
went
month
with
ago?
A different group of people.
That was a
We
month
only
ago,
went
right?
It
with
was a
2
month
people
ago.
instead of
Yeah.
10.
Yes.
All right.
So there was
Yeah.
8 other opportunities for
Jackassery.
jackassery or liveliness or
Comments.
different things or different
Underhanded.
a different
overhanded.
different
Yes.
outcome or different sentence
Sure,
or whatever. It's
sure.
like, oh my god, what's this?
And strangely, the first trip was all men. And I'm not
Really?
saying that's good or bad.
Men-
I'm not
That's
here to do that.
interesting.
And then the second time,
This
there
is
was
the
a
man
couple,
cave.
the couple, it just seemed a bit.
Where was the women?
Well, as members of the media, should we be invited to these things? I mean, we should be going down their
I think
podcast.
so, I think so.
That's called flies on a wall.
Sorry.
there, I guess.
Yeah, right. Brown Foreman people. Yeah,
Brown Foreman folks, yeah.
Yeah.
So just different.
So this was your first or your second tequila barrel pick.
Tell us what this is here.
That's
Exactly
number
what
one.
this is.
First, yes, this is
So number two's coming.
Number two's coming. We picked that about 4 weeks ago.
All right.
All
And that comes in
Late
90
April,
days, so probably May.
And you said this is only aged for 11 months.
Yes, get into the details
Well,
here.
that's
'Cause
not really
we've been all focusing on your delicious bourbon. Let's get at this tequila here. What is it? Why did you pick it? Let's get into what we're looking at here.
Yeah, yeah.
It's another product in the Brown Foreman portfolio.
Okay.
We tend to stick with that company. They have really good brands from Old Forester to El Jimador to Herradura, obviously Woodford.
This is a Herradura.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Reposado.
it's from
Herradura.
Jalisco, which is where almost all the tequilas in the world are from.
Mm-hmm.
It's made with the blue agave, which is the highest quality agave plant that you can get. Once it's roasted and squeezed and pressed
In the
and
ground.
distilled, they barrel age it in a lightly. The big difference between bourbon, well, not big difference, other than the raw juice itself, but the difference is they just lightly toast the barrels versus bourbon. They char the hell out of them.
Is it like a 1 char or a 2 char? Almost?
Basic, I'd say 1, maybe 2.
The marshmallow
Whereas,
test.
yeah,
the nice golden marshmallow or the
Yeah.
burnt ass marshmallow.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
correct.
right.
That's
So
kinda
bourbon's
how I
like
tell people
charred,
about that.
and they have specific seconds that they charred for in bourbon.
Yeah.
This is just lightly toasted.
Okay.
Put the
Golden
Blanco
hue.
tequila.
Kind of like us by the time we're done with this podcast.
If all goes well.
If all goes well.
Lightly, you say?
That's right.
I still got work to do, man.
Put it in there for 11 months. Let it age a bit.
Mhm.
Soften up. Round out.
See, 11 months to me sounds young.
It is.
That's super young. Like there, you have a bourbon that can go right into a barrel, and then you pour it out a day later. That's still bourbon. But
So
tequila for only 11
Well, this is
months.
this is a reposado. It's not an anejo,
Okay.
and it's not a silver. So
No.
why did you go
Yeah,
with
the-
this?
it's all they provided.
Okay,
Well-
well, that there goes that whole
There's your
topic of
answer.
conversation that shot to hell.
Yeah, yeah.
So they take this 11-month-old. I'm sorry, Tone. I keep
So, okay.
in India. They
You're-
take this
you're in a good clip
11-month-old
right now.
tequila in a toasted oak barrel, and they take it out and put it in a brand new barrel for 1 month.
Okay.
Okay.
And they try and sell you on the fact that it adds another layer of flavor, maybe a nose, maybe a finish.
Sure.
Because it's raw. I mean, raw wood.
Just
that
and there's nothing. There's no char. There's
nothing.
no nothing.
Yeah. Brand
Raw
new.
dog.
Yeah.
Raw
dog
wood.
Sorry.
Yes.
Raw dog wood.
All right,
I
you're
got
cutting
Where's
it
the
out.
bell?
Too
Where's
too
that?
well.
That's
Too
too
well.
Raw
soon.
dog wood.
That's
There. Hence
So-
the double representative.
Hence the double barrel.
Double
Oh,
barrel.
okay, the second barrel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reposado. So the Blanco, not aged, and Añejo 6 months, and then Reposado 11, 12 or more.
Reverse that.
No,
Oh,
you
do I
got
got
it
it
wrong.
backwards?
You got the Añejo and the Reposado backwards.
Reposado, then Añejo.
Yeah, Añejo is the darker. It's always
Over.
the darkest.
That one's over.
And I love
12. All right.
Herradura's Añejo. I think it's a solid.
Me too.
So Blanco's right.
Tequila.
It's like drinking. If you were to compare it to
Yeah,
whiskey, it's like drinking White Lightning.
Yeah.
But
But
Yeah,
reduced
it's only for
like,
margaritas.
like
You
hair
don't
of the
do shots of
dog.
that.
Like
Yeah,
hair of the
reduced
dog.
down to.
But if you cut it with water, drinking non-aged whiskey that's like 80 proof tastes terrible.
Yeah.
When you drink
Yeah.
Blanco tequila,
it
it's
doesn't
delicious.
matter. Yeah, it's pretty good.
And that's kind of the different. That's why you need to age bourbon so long. is
Right.
I think
So it gets
What
more
we
out of
le-
the barrel. Yeah.
what we
Yeah.
learned when we were down at Woodford's, I think 70 or 80% of the flavors you get from bourbon are from the barrel.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whereas
It's the
with
sugars in there.
tequila, 90% of the flavor you get from tequila is actually from the tequila.
Not to go back to the bourbon, but at the Rick House for Woodford, how would they store the barrels? Were they on their sides or were they standing up straight?
Sides.
On the sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always on the side. Yeah.
Because that lends a different profile as well. Some folks will do it straight up and down. Some folks will do it on the
I've never
side.
seen them
I've
straight
never
up and
seen
down.
it
Well,
straight
like
up and
Weiss
down either.
Distilling is doing them straight up and down just for space reasons. They
yeah.
cannot store it. It's
No
how they do
shit.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in there. Got a little tour of that place.
I'll be done.
So
I
for-
wonder if that's any different.
So for the double barrel of the Reposado, were they on their sides
Yep.
for
Oh, yeah.
that 1 month additional?
And the uniqueness of that, like you can't buy a double reposado in the stores anywhere in the States. You have to do a barrel pick.
Okay.
Have to.
It seems a
get-
little bit gimmicky, but I'm down.
Right.
Thank you.
But I'm
Right.
down.
It adds
Tell us
to,
about it. We just bought a whole barrel.
I'm in.
It adds
I'm in.
to our.
I buy in. I'm in.
It adds to the jackassery, or it
It
adds to
does.
the story a little bit.
It's a
right?
distinct. It's something you
But
got.
you can't buy it. So
Something you
it's just
got.
when you say
Right.
that, people love uniqueness, limited.
Yeah.
You know, all these kind of words. They love that.
Maybe they don't like the version. Maybe gimmicky is the rudest of those words
that's-
to
that's
describe
true.
this.
But that's a negative connotation. Yeah.
Sorry
but
about that.
That's
but,
okay.
It's like smooth. It's got a negative
but this
connotation.
is the last.
you
And this
go.
is actually, you said this is the last bottle of this entire barrel, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
oh, yeah.
and if that's not
And
gone
you-
by the time we leave this table,
Well, I didn't pour you guys
You
any
guys
'cause I
aren't
didn't know if
standing
you were
up to your-
lying. Maybe you had one
the name
stashed,
in
but
This is
have
it.
some. Have
Yeah,
some
this
of
is
your
it.
tequila, guys.
Like we were.
Is it-
They've
That's
had
right.
enough.
I know. I've been sipping on it.
Another
It's
funny
nice.
story. Like
It's,
we didn't know we had another.
Well, you
and
told me
then
there was
Owen
gone.
like, well, it's just how about
Standing
this one
outside
right
of
here?
that
And I'm like,
bus
like, what
at the Christmas party, you
it
told me I
was
have some
sitting
at home.
on
I'll bring
our
it.
desk in our office.
Ah.
It's been sitting there for Lord knows how long.
3 years.
And I'm like, holy shit, I
wow.
didn't even know that was even there.
Hey,
All right, so there's a
had
thing-
my hat on it.
Because if I did, that would have been long gone.
So
Yeah.
so we're tasting this out of little plastic cups, but there's one thing that we do pay attention to that I like to pay attention to is the oils and the legs on
Yeah.
this Reposado in a plastic little
Mhm,
cup.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
They're hanging.
Yeah, look at that.
on.
That's funny, man. When we do the tasting with that guy.
Yeah.
What was the guy's name this year?
It's the
I'll think of
viscosity
it.
test.
I can't remember.
On
It
hell-
doesn't matter.
Is it?
But Ruban, who was our first guy, he taught us all about that with
Mhm.
tequila. And in my brain, you think about wine a little bit when you
Yeah.
think about legs, and
Yeah.
maybe even bourbon too a little bit.
Sure.
I would have never thought about that from tequila. My brain would have never have done that. I
Right.
would never have been looking.
'Cause
Woo.
What do people think when they think tequila? They think shots, right?
They think this.
right,
Yeah.
or horns or what have you. They think
A little
tequila-
red hat.
But
I
Yeah.
think, yeah,
tequila's never
lemons
really.
and salt and
Correct.
craziness.
They
yeah.
threw up
Correct.
in college, and then that's it.
And a
Yeah,
lot of
never go
folks are
back
like
to
they
it.
just think shots, but they don't think as
Stuff
tequila
with
as
the
a sipping
sombrero
liquor.
on it.
Yeah, right.
Correct.
But that has been changing over the past number of
my
years.
goodness. It changed in two-
How are you service at the Firebird? Are you
If
not
at all.
cocktail? Are you doing cocktails? Is this the rocks or you want
we make a house cow.
Yeah.
That actually Owen made, and I got to tell
that
you,
uses this?
and it pains me to
Yeah.
say it, but it's one of the better cocktails I've ever had in my life.
Ah,
Thanks.
Like-
Nice backhanded compliment there.
Not that it pains me to say it. Is
Even though he made it.
That's
in
not-
spite of the creator.
No,
Yes,
that's not what
whatever.
I mean. I'm just pissed that I didn't come up with it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's one of the better cocktails you've ever had. We call it a Paloma, but it's just a little twist on it. and it's delicious.
One of the things we learned when we went down the first time was nobody in Mexico drinks margaritas.
Yeah.
That is a completely American thing.
Yeah.
That was probably invented in Texas or California.
Yeah, California.
Everybody loves a mark.
Blasphemy is what it is.
I don't hate them though. I still love them.
Everybody likes a mark.
I don't discriminate.
I'll take a mark right now. I mean, who doesn't?
But they drink palomas, so tequila and squirt.
Tequila and squirt.
Tequila and Mexican squirt, and it's extremely refreshing.
It's delicious.
Squirt is an underrated booze mixer that just doesn't get used around here.
Carries it. Yeah, it's hard to find.
Squirt
Carries it.
Yeah.
Well, squirt's great. Grapefruit soda is delicious.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Fresca, whatever. you want.
Fresca, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they drink. You can mask maybe some cheaper tequila with grapefruit
And some cheaper gin.
Go ahead.
You can't mask the red sombrero. I'm just saying.
You can't.
No.
You can't. Yeah,
No,
you got to show it to somebody at some point.
That's unmaskable.
Am I crazy, or is the first mezcal we were all introduced to the stuff with the worm in the bottle? Was that a mezcal? Remember when you were kids, your parents always had
that's
that?
why
that
nobody
was
drinks
from,
tequila anymore.
Yeah.
Because, until now.
Well, you got to eat the worm.
Was that tequila or was that mezcal?
We
pretty sure that was
had to
tequila.
age out.
I think
Because everyone had a bottle of
the younger people
Galliano
don't
and
even
a
know
bottle
about
of
the
the
worm.
worm stuff on
They
their
don't even know
parents
about
and
it.
grandparents' bars.
It was El
kids.
Toro.
Yeah.
El Toro.
They
I
had the
think
worm. Those
I think we're
little
on that
larva.
little
we're all in
red
that same age
hat.
group.
And,
No, the hat didn't have the
worm.
worm in it, did it?
El Toro is the one with the hat. Isn't
No,
it?
I'm talking about the worm.
Yeah, but
the
like
worm.
our
No, I'm
staff
just-
age, right?
Remember the worm?
25-year-olds, they don't know about
Tequila
that.
or
Worm.
I'll
is it
take you back
mezcal?
to your childhoods, fellas. Poltergeist. Craig
There
T.
it is.
Davis. He's in
There it
his
is.
he's in his living room and he's drinking a bottle of tequila. And that was Poltergeist 2, I think.
Oh, yeah, wait.
And he downs the bottle of tequila and there was the worm. And then
Yeah.
he threw
Urban
it up
Cowboy.
later.
Same shit.
I'll take
Travolta
you back
knocks
to your
it down,
childhood.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay, knock it off.
So El Toro was the sombrero, and I don't know the name of the
Yeah.
worm one.
The
No,
worm
but this
was-
is
But it just
Montalban.
had a negative
Montalban?
connotation.
Montalban.
Right?
Carlo Montalban.
But now,
Monte Alban. My bad.
when you think about it, like
Monte
properties
Alban.
in tequila
That's the one that we
are so much
had.
better for you. Like
Oh.
this is why this younger generation is drinking tequila.
It's mezcal.
Tequila is
Did you
doing
say it's
this.
better
Yeah.
for you?
Well, yeah, if you look at it,
Jamie,
technically,
Jamie, what happens when you drink tequila?
Oh, my pants fall off.
yeah, that's a country song.
Fall?
Yeah.
They just fall?
They just say
They
That's
just
a
fall
country
off.
song, and what the country song fails to tell you is you had 30 of them.
Yeah.
So if you had 30 whatever, your pants are coming off. I got news for you.
It was Monte Alban Mezcal. Was
Yeah.
the bottle that we always had. It was always on
Yep.
the basement bars
I'll be
next to
darned.
that Galliano that had the worm in it.
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah,
What the hell is that?
it was a staple in suburban grandparents' bars.
Oh
To
yeah.
have that, it sat there, and every year at Christmas, one uncle would do that
It was
shot.
Mad Dog
We all got around and
2020.
watch them.
Like,
Seeing
here he goes
paper
again.
trails?
Here he
Yeah.
goes again.
Yeah, there he goes again.
I'm
Yeah,
seeing
yeah,
paper
yeah,
trails.
One of the we employ a lot of we get older, our employees stay the same age. It's straight out of Days of Confused.
All right, all right, all right.
Yes, they do. All right.
But what we've learned
All
is
right.
Yeah, it's a confused story when you're done. But keep going.
because of the little bit more purity of tequila, meaning it's not aged, it doesn't have a lot of sugars in it from the barrel, from the
Right.
charness of the barrel, and all that, all the impurities from the wood. It's much more pure, especially with the blue agave. That the hangover and is just considerably less,
Right.
Especially
Yeah,
if
it's
you
not a
drink Blanco
depressant.
tequila. There's no, it's the purest form of just basically a distilled plant.
Right.
Right.
Unlike this, where you bourbon, you have to manipulate so much.
There's
to
more
try and
chemicals in.
Yes.
It's more of a process.
It's
They put some more of those
extreme
chemicals in my
process,
body.
But I mean, wood just imparts almost all the flavor. And think about all the impurities that are in wood
Yeah.
Right.
versus this plant that grows and you barely age it for 11 months, or a Blanco in general.
Right.
So you can do shots of El Jimador or like any Don Julio Blanco
Mhm.
and wake up in the morning and not feel like you just got run over by a truck if you drank half a bottle of whiskey.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna test this theory in 90 days.
Yes.
And then
We'll
they
be
will
back.
ask,
We'll be back
and
in
is it
90
the
days.
same-
to go
Is it
over.
the same style? The same? You get the double barrel
thing.
reposado. It's the same thing. You didn't. Okay.
Now this is a traveling podcast, so can we come to your establishment
God,
and
yeah.
sit down in a corner?
This is America.
and-
You can
We
do
love
anything you
that.
want.
We love that.
Yeah, and just sit down. We can make it an
This is the
event.
home of
We
the
can
Up
free,
do-
on the
baby.
second
we can
floor.
do a
and,
tasting if you wanted, just to kind of enhance, some of the experiences
We'd
that you
love
guys
that.
are looking for. Where you,
I think
that's in
we
order.
would love to feed you and booze you.
Yeah.
well, we're not looking for that. We're looking to have an experience with you guys.
We're looking for
Right.
that.
Yeah.
He's on a fixed income with having a government job.
employee.
Yeah, government employee.
I'm automotive. How about a fixed it?
Aren't we all? Jeez.
That was great. So the Firebird Tavern, it's in Greektown, right on Monroe.
Yep.
And
you guys got something coming up here, don't you? You got an event coming up?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's we're 1 week away from opening day with Detroit Tigers. It's
Christmas
pretty
downtown, baby.
It'd be like it's quiet day, quiet little.
Because that lot next to the building, that's your lot too, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, we don't own that lot. No.
Well,
okay,
I'm sad to say I don't own it.
We rented for a day.
Okay.
Yeah, we rented for a day.
But it is
just one.
Okay.
Just one. Yeah. That's all we get.
So every year opening day, what do you guys look forward to when it comes to these big events? Besides the foot traffic and the ROI, what is it? Some of the things that you guys are looking forward to when you have these big events?
Easy.
Yeah.
It's the year-long marketing that, hey, we're a downtown place for baseball. We're your downtown place for your event, whatever it is you're doing.
Sure.
Come to Firebird. So it's a
free game here.
If I'm honest
Pre-game,
about it, it's not the money grab, because these events actually, little secret,
They're fun.
They're great, but they don't make a lot of money. I mean, we make
people walk
honestly,
in.
God, we make I think we make $5,000 on this thing, dude. Whatever.
People walk in
compared to how much
use the bathroom,
and
walk
watching
out.
you last year with the fire marshal and everything else, it always comes through.
It's just
no
a
matter
shit
what,
show,
it's a
but
thing.
it's such a great marketing thing, right?
really
It's
is.
a Firebird in your mouth for a day. It's everywhere. People see it, they hear it. It's
that's
why we do it. If I'm honest about it.
How's St. Patrick's for you? Because you're just down the street from that Irish joint. You get a lot.
They didn't have a tent this year.
They did not.
You get a lot of overflow from that. Those shenanigans.
We do.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, we built up our own following, if you will. But the Shillelagh is a powerhouse. Let's get real with it on St. Patty's Day, and sure we reap the reward of it as Greektown does, really.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Everybody in Greektown does. They didn't put up a tent this year. It was the first time, and we were talking about our memory.
I
30 years
in my life.
I used to come back from Michigan State to work the door on St. Patrick's Day.
See?
Work the tent.
Put a
blown away.
Money.
Just blown away.
Back in the 90s.
Yeah, right.
They didn't do one this year, but they still did pretty well, and we still got a bunch of overflow. So we've relied on that for
what other big events do you guys celebrate down there? Fireworks or what's going to go on? What's going to go on with the Grand Prix? Is it gonna have cars like roaring across your sidewalk there? Or?
I wish.
well,
they got the big techno festival that happens every year as well.
Yeah.
Yep. The couple other nightclubs that are kind of down the street from us get a lot of that business. There's something for everybody in our street.
Yep.
We don't fall into that techno thing. We would like to, but it's just
have a DJ.
We
do.
It just doesn't.
It's just not what Firebird is.
Sure.
But
but it can be for a weekend.
That's interesting. It's a Grand Prix because I one of my gigs in college, I clerked for an attorney, and so I'd be running to the courthouses downtown, and when the Grand Prix time, and there was like the run through the streets, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like it was
Formula One back then too,
Yeah,
and I remember sitting in the Wayne County elections department.
It was a challenge
when I was a child. Long before my neighbor growing up was the Wayne County elections director, and look at me running elections now for a living.
See,
still
full circle.
Still talk to Ed.
Full circle.
But his office was right one of the straightaways. My dad and I and Mr.
Yeah.
Perry would sit there and watch these cars. It was just so loud. I remember being like 8 years old, like, oh my god, we were in a building.
Yeah,
right.
So Greektown might have a car down there for just on display.
Yeah.
Like our event manager Jenna, she books a lot of things on our second floor for us in terms of fundraisers and rehearsal dinners and whatever.
Is that a venue where folks can like do an event for a wedding ceremony?
You got it. Yep. We do a ton, and Jenna's busy, man. She does a lot of work for us. She's great.
Good.
Rehearsal dinners. We're heading political fundraisers, whatever is happening downtown.
Sure.
And she's in with the Grand Prix people, and so there may be an event down there.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm in with. The State Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks is coming to downtown Detroit.
Heck yeah.
In this June.
Somebody get crazy with the clerks.
It's called
going to be
Planting a Seed.
Clerks Gone Mild, and I'm bringing them all.
Should we
to
break out the
Firebird.
plastic cups?
Clerks Gone
Should we use
Mild.
plastic cups or what's happening right now? You're
Silverware
scaring me.
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hide your silverware and plates.
Yeah.
It's all plastic.
First time we brought them all to Detroit, and these ladies are going to get mild.
Yeah, you're right. You know what's funny? Like every year there's a teacher conference. I can't remember the exact name.
Oh, that's
of it.
crazy. Can I go to
some-
that? Let me know when that is.
It's every year. And I got to tell you,
Clerks
and
Gone Wild.
and being a teacher,
Oh yeah.
I guarantee you know what I'm saying.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Second only to dental
I
hygienist
say this
convention.
with some hesitation. It may be the wildest week that we have, right? Like, aside from opening day, take that, and St. Patty's Day,
dental hygienist convention.
Right. But teachers are such salt of the earth people, and when they get an opportunity, like, oh my God, I'm away from my responsibility.
Oh, you're
talking. I'm opening up a podcast studio.
Maybe my husband or wife
teacher
or my
right
kids.
now.
I'm in a hotel. I'm just gonna let my fucking hair down.
Yeah. That's
And
this guy right here.
And they go for it, right? Like, every year this happens, and most times during the week we close at midnight ish. Like last night, Bruce Springsteen was there, so we opened till 1 or whatever.
Wait. Bruce Springsteen was what?
Not at
no.
I'm sorry, not at Firebird, but it was downtown.
Okay.
Concert downtown.
So we saw Bruce.
But you're responsible enough to pay attention to the event calendar, unlike some places in town that gets cut off.
That's just being a business person.
Who would you be talking about?
Not talking about anyone specific.
Okay.
Because we saw Bruce at the Palace when it was still standing.
Yeah.
And the man knew he was a rock star as he's on stage, and
he took his shirt off last night.
Yeah,
and he's 73 and he's buff as a mother effer.
If only.
So now you're not going to swear.
Everybody told me.
Now you're not going to swear.
like right? I'm like, oh my God.
When I'm talking about the boss, you can't swear.
Yeah, right. I'm like, yeah,
it's a respect thing. It's all about
right. Almost like felt like it's sacrilege. Should I swear?
Am I bad for having no desire to go to that show?
No, I didn't have any.
No, he's 70.
Yet I could not wait to buy my Phil Collins tickets and was like going nuts for that.
Big difference.
That's basically the same thing, but a lot less fervor.
I don't know.
Would you get a wheelchair?
No, he did not. He said a chair the whole time, but his voice was a 10 of 10.
All right, there it is.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Lord have mercy.
All right, so the Firebird Tavern, the website is
FirebirdTavern.com.
FirebirdTavern.com. Okay,
we're not trying to trick you.
I have a question for you, fellas.
I'd love to hear it. Augie, can you give me another cube, my man?
Yeah, get a cube in that man's glass. So every company, every entrepreneur, they want to grow their business. So what are some of the things you guys are doing over the next couple of years to help yourselves elongate your legacy, if you will?
Yeah,
easy.
Right.
We'll expand.
You say easy, but
we'll expand. We'll have another.
He missed the pre-meeting.
That's okay.
He missed the pre-meeting.
Yeah.
There'll be
surprises
another spot
on the horizons.
Yeah, by the end of the year, we're hoping to have another spot.
Oh my God, I'm gonna put that in the rotation.
I
love it.
Coming soon.
Surprising in the
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Breaking news here on the podcast.
Can we announce what county?
No.
Okay.
It's either going to be Oakland or Macomb.
Until we pay off that clerk.
Yeah, it'll be.
I know the clerk in that location well, and she's a dear friend, and she would never take your money.
Yeah.
No.
Do you have any political connections?
No, it's just because I'm always looking forward to folks, becoming more successful, in what they do. And you guys are very successful already in what you do.
Yeah.
But I love to see, folks just get that much better.
Thank you.
And make legacies, for what they do.
I love hearing that. Thank you.
I really enjoy that. So.
We've been looking. We found some success after about 3 years of opening. Finally, we kind of found our groove about 2016, and we had a couple years to accrue some cash.
Mm-hmm.
And we were looking very heavily. We looked at probably 8 or 10 spots.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow! So was it active? Like this is
what we're gonna do.
We were really close.
You want to grow.
We wanted to grow. We knew we had to get all of our eggs out of one basket.
Sure.
You can't rely on one source of revenue in this business because things change.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
especially downtown.
Well, you didn't see COVID coming, but things always change, right?
It could be construction.
Downtown.
It could be
100%
COVID.
Something else. Could be COVID.
Yeah.
So we've been looking for a long time. We were in bed with the Illiches. I mean, so much so. I think we're okay to say this. They took us to a concert in the Illich Suite and said, congratulations, shook our hands. We had a great time. It was me, Tony, his wife. We're like, okay, great. This is great on Columbia Street. And 2 weeks later, they told us to go pound sand.
Well, no. They said you're going to go from this location.
Location.
They were going to
shut
move
us on the street.
okay.
And then we gave them all reasons why this were going to work. And you make your own decision of what the district is going
Midtown,
but that didn't stop you guys.
No,
and that's what I really enjoy about the integrity that you guys have. You know what? Whatever.
Thank you.
We still are going to do what we're going to do. So, and you guys are reaching out. You guys have not stopped. So thank you for continuing to want to.
I think that's
grow.
the heart of every entrepreneur, right? Like,
honestly, but you believe in your brand. You believe in what, you believe in what you do, and you believe in your staff. You believe in, how you go to market. So continue to do that.
Yep. And there's also we've learned all this. We have to dump it into another place so we get up to speed quicker.
Yeah.
You want to be able to replicate what you've learned. Otherwise, you just learned it. And,
right.
Yeah.
Then it goes away.
And then it just sits there. But I'd like to be able to apply this to 2 or 3 other places. And I don't think either of us want to be like the next Chili's. But
Jesus.
But having 4 or 5.
Okay, the next Outback.
I'm still going to celebrate the food there.
A little bit.
So I'm still going to celebrate your food.
Southwest egg rolls are not too bad. Let me tell you.
Gotta swear.
I'm not doing it. I'm out.
4 or 5 locations strategically placed throughout Southeast Michigan.
Sure. I think
that's a good. Okay. That's a good brand to have.
Yeah.
And I'll have a question for you after the fact. But fellas, thank you so much for the opportunity.
And thank you for doing this. I know I cornered you guys at a Christmas party.
I loved it.
You guys want to do a podcast?
That sounds like a great idea. Let's do it.
Okay.
That's how this works.
That's the right time to ask for just about anything when someone's half boozed up.
Yes.
Well, I had actually ran into Tony doing a fundraiser at a Kroger in Troy. And he's like, what? Those are my nieces over there. He's like, what?
You're doing that in Troy.
He goes, tomorrow's our Christmas party.
And I came back in. I said, well, you didn't tell me you know August, by the way. So here's it.
Not only that, they were my nieces.
Yeah. Like,
so he's like, come to the Christmas party tomorrow. Stop in the Foaling warehouse. So I stopped in. And I accidentally walked in on it a couple years ago when I think you were there. I kind of wandered in on it accidentally. So I'm blessed to know these guys. I've had a great relationship with them for a long time. Tony and I doing the basement of Bravo schlepping liquor bottles back in the day.
100%.
That's kind of where that goes back to. So
that's right. We've known each other.
I got a text from Lisa Burden while I was sitting here.
Oh, shit.
Yes, out of nowhere. Who's one of the owners of Busted Bra Shops, by the way, which is pretty cool.
Yep. Nice.
So that's just people that we knew that you hang out with all the time. Back
you know what's funny, man? Like Pulse was like a pseudo incubator.
It was absolutely an incubator
for like, if like our age people, everybody that hung out in that place because it wasn't like a main street. The sign was this big. Like you had to know,
it was there.
Otherwise, you just drive by it and it would just look nothing.
Right.
The people that came in there are decision makers now.
They're
politically
very involved
CEOs. I mean, they're running things in and around Detroit, and it's like
I'm the biggest failure of that group, and I'm the city clerk of Clawson.
That's what I mean.
The Curtis,
I'm the garbage of that. That crowd.
It's absolutely.
You sell yourself a little short there, August.
Anthony Curtis was in love with one of our witches for a while. Jeanette Pierce started, and Carrie Dolman started her company and drank our coffee and used our free Wi-Fi for about a year and a half.
That was with the Van Dyke brothers.
Melinda started her design company.
Everybody.
I was with the Van Dyke brothers at Name Rouge over the weekend. You know, I mean, Peter's got his new firm.
He's got a new PR firm.
Jill Ferrari is one of the top female. One of the top female developers in the country, and out of Jill, and these are just people we just all hang out there.
Isn't it weird?
Sit in that little section and have a cocktail and
talk
about what we're going to be when we grow
around
up.
In my brain.
Yeah,
because I know that they know that I know.
All this name dropping that means nothing to our usual crowd.
That's okay. Sorry about that.
Thank you for giving me that. Indulging me, gentlemen.
You're
with
good.
With
no,
that
you're
moment.
welcome, man.
We digress.
No, but honestly, your time tonight has been very well spent. So
what a pleasure, man.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us.
Thank you so much for having us.
FirebirdTavern.com and just always stuff going on, right? I open 7 days.
Come tomorrow,
except for Sundays, except for home football.
Come tomorrow.
You and
is that true? So you're closed on Sundays except home football.
So home football, but the Lions aren't any good, and we're still open.
Yeah.
Right. Drinking that Kool-Aid yet?
No, yet.
All right, there you go. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, all those podcast things and all the podcast places. It's the mancavehappyhour.com. And
well, he's Jamie Flanagan.
Yep. Cheers.
Yeah, Matt Fox.
Gentlemen.
And I'm still August.
Cheers.
All right, fellas. Thank you
Cheers,
so much.
guys. Thanks for being here.
That's bad luck to cheers with no booze.
Gentlemen,
Here.
what a pleasure. Thank you.
We'll get there.
Thank you, boys, very much.
Pleasure.